What is good, Lottery Stocks fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you are new. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your weekend. We are seeing Ethereum consolidate. We're going to talk a little bit about some different charts today. XRP, Pepe, Doge, Bitcoin, SPY, GameStop, what I think is coming for the rest of the year. Also, what to look at this coming week, and then some requests that I had in Discord to cover as well. So without further ado, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, watch until the end. Turn post notifications on. I'm going to ask you to drop a comment down below at the end of the video regarding a picture. I want to know where you think that we are in the market cycle. Now, right here, we have in front of us Bitcoin overlaid over Ethereum. Now, I initially knew where I was going to go with this, and I believe it's going to tie into what I think is going to happen with altcoins. Somebody wanted me to cover XRP. That's good because it was going to be covered anyway, very briefly. XRP is setting up for a big red candle based on the charts, in my personal opinion. A lot of you guys aren't going to want to hear this, but you're going to want to hear what I have to say that follows this red candle. Now, we have built a base several different times on XRP where we got this sort of move, this breakdown, and then this wick, and we built this floor. But once you break that, you enter sort of a long consolidation phase lower. We had sort of the same thing happen here, and now we are having a very similar thing happen here where we are testing lows. Okay, XRP is not technically bearish just yet. I just think that we are due for a pullback, whether that's going to last 1 week, 2 weeks, or maybe even 3 weeks. Same thing goes for Pepe and other altcoins. We are seeing Pepe have aggressive moves towards the downside, which hopefully it holds up at this key resistance at, what is that, 50.8, right? Dogecoin as well, starting to have aggressive moves down here as if we are entering a bear market winter. But as many of you know, you might say, well, Lottery Stocks, I thought Bitcoin was bullish according to you. Unless this happens, then that doesn't happen, and we are supposed to be seeing an altcoin season. Was this our altcoin season that we already seen? I will still state we are not there just yet in that altcoin season as a possible top. I also want to state that coins like Ethereum have had worse returns throughout this cycle period alongside Bitcoin, but Ethereum hits its peak 616 days into the cycle, every single cycle, and we are not there just yet. In fact, 616 days brings you to mid-September. So are we going to see ugly moves down for a while before peaking in September? This is a possible scenario, but I want to talk about Bitcoin's monthly candle here. This is what's called a spinning top on Bitcoin, but you can see that the candle is likely closing red on the month. We do have 1 week left of trading. I assume we just see some consolidation, if not a sell-off, but here's what I want to see and what I want to point out. This goes for the SPY as well. SPY is trading at 594. We got a key technical breakdown. We called this out. We've been waiting for a technical breakdown, and I think this is just the beginning. We also wanted it to hold 593.10 as our first target. That's basically exactly where the SPY came down to. Where do we go after that? Well, 591 is the next level, but we're probably going to open beneath that because of war tensions, and we'll talk about that later in the video. Bitcoin, this candle right here, this is an indecision candle, and here's what we have to look out for. This is going to tell us almost everything, okay? This 1 monthly candle right here. When we enter July is going to be a month, and here's what I see in my personal opinion. GameStop flying, AMC flying, basket stocks like BlackBerry, which we'll talk about, Bitcoin, altcoins, SPY, all of them going very green. What I see for the end of June, possibly the first week of July, is a sharp move down on the SPY coming into this Friday, June 30th, and less likely the first week of July. But this upcoming week, very likely we see red across the board on SPY, on Bitcoin, on altcoins, having a very, very hard move down, an aggressive move down. XRP, probably a hard move down to $1.61 to $1.80. This is likely what we're going to see this upcoming week. Now, this is good for Bitcoin technically if we see a sell-off this week instead of consolidating. The reason I say that is because if you enter July, what you want to see is us not break the lows, which are set at 100,000 right now. But if we have a very red week and we retest maybe 98, then it makes a lower low with a sort of a safer backbone for July. If at any point in July, let's assume the monthly candle right here closes at 102 on Bitcoin, and we have these wicks on both sides of the candlestick, what we don't want to see is a break beneath the lower wick, right, which is set at 100K right now. So we wouldn't want to break 100K in July at all, or that would indicate hard bearish moves likely to the downside. But what this spinning top is setting us up for is another bull market or another bull push higher. And this goes for altcoins as well. And this also goes for GameStop. This also goes for SPY. And this would also line up with a perfect recovery that we are supposed to see in the SPY, where we crash down, people panic this week, possibly into the week after. Again, I'm not calling for the week after, but red this week for sure, in my personal opinion. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Before moving higher, SPY coming up to 613, 615, 616, making new all-time highs. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, I assume Bitcoin is going to hit 116 to 122 at minimum, probably mid-July. And we're going to see altcoins do their thing, and we're going to see especially GameStop do their thing. Somebody wanted me to cover the ADX. This is an indicator that you can go pull up on your charts. Also, guys, real quick, if you're not in the Discord, we have a video request channel right here where you can come request things. I basically just wanted to see if anyone had some things that they wanted in today's video. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to include all of them. Now, I actually haven't worked with a lot of these indicators, but here is how this works and how you could have possibly caught a trend. So we have the yellow line, and let me pull these up for you, which is the ADX. Then we have D plus, D minus, and then key level, which is basically the neutral zone, to look for these crosses. Now, a bullish trend indicates that the ADX is above 25. We are testing that right now, and this is just one example on GameStop. But you can see that recently the D plus actually crossed below the D minus, the green crossing below the red, indicating that we are actually still in bearish trend. And we have a large gap to confirm that we're even going to go higher. Now, if you look back into the charts here, we see the D plus cross the D minus right here, actually, which case you would have caught this green candle October 28th, rode GameStop's momentum from 20 bucks all the way to 35 bucks. So interesting indicator, but would you have actually entered on that cross? Well, maybe, but the ADX wasn't above 25, indicating strong trend until about here, in which case you still would have entered at 26, 27 at most, rode the trend up to, well, where would you have sold, right? You could have rode the trend all the way up and you wouldn't have known that we were going to get across until about 30 bucks to 28 bucks, in which case you still would have profited. So it's an interesting indicator. Maybe I'll use this. Maybe I'll try it out, see if it's profitable. Again, I don't have much to add. I haven't worked with this one, but feel free to add it to your chart. DMI/ADX, key levels over on TradingView. So that's just a brief coverage right there. Watch oil plays. One you can watch is USO and ETF. A lot of these are likely going to break out, especially with what is going on with global tensions. And Reddit is also talking about dipping their feet into that. And speaking of Reddit is something that Discord wanted me to briefly cover. It's trading at 139. I think this is undervalued, honestly. Their earnings have blown Wall Street's expectations, and they were initially planning on shorting this thing. Now, Reddit did have a nice move up, so you want to be careful. It came all the way up to 148 recently, but I do believe it possibly could have a quick pop to 157.50, which is a level that I'm watching. And if we continue to break higher on high momentum, in which this breakout, we got a lot of volume, right? Then we could see a short squeeze. This is sitting at almost an 18% short interest, so definitely keep Reddit on your radar. As far as BlackBerry goes, This is very simple. GameStop, AMC, Cost, Sundial, BlackBerry, plenty of other plays. They move in tandem with each other. These are basket plays. When I say basket plays, they're going to trade on the same algorithm. So if AMC is going to squeeze, BlackBerry is going to squeeze with it, in my personal opinion. To what degree? Maybe a higher degree, right? Maybe a lower one. Okay, this is something that you're going to decide whether you want to take the risk on or not take the risk on. Now, again, if you're diversified on all of these or you're not diversified in all of these, it's likely going to be a very similar outcome. Moving on, we have that earthquake that just hit, if you haven't heard, in central Iran, basically right around the nuclear facilities. And people have lots of theories about this. A 5.2 magnitude earthquake just occurred in central Iran. Is this, I mean, this doesn't necessarily relate to stocks, although it can, because it's just war, tensions, and possibilities. But is this, something that has to do with the nuclear facility? Is this something biblical? What do you guys think this is in the comments down below? We also have Fox News reporting that 6 U.S. B-2 stealth bombers currently appeared headed towards Guam. So the U.S. is possibly, dipping their feet in here. 6 Israel drones and an F-35 aircraft shot down in, I'm not even going to pronounce that. And then we have senior Iranian official, according to Reuters, if we have to choose between stopping uranium enrichment and war, we choose war. So a lot of these countries are not, what we're seeing is no one's really going on the defense here. People are kind of just like, hey, come test me. I'm ready to drop a nuke. Overall, we don't want war at all, but these tensions are going to affect the market. And I think a lot of it is just going to be a great excuse for a flash crash. And that's ultimately what we want. We want shorts to dive in here and dip more than their toes in the water before they get their heads ripped off and things start to squeeze again. So ultimately what we're expecting, this is a little bit of a later move than we're used to. We're used to, somewhat early mid-summer squeezes. And again, it's still, technically today's the first day of summer, right? But again, we normally see these bullish markets during around this time frame with this euphoric state. But right now, maybe we see some panic. Maybe we see a spike in the VIX. What we do realize is that SPY's been moving up. Momentum's weakening across the board, and it's been retail buying. So a flash crash will also give institutions a time to buy in, and also shorts to get squoze out of their positions at a larger magnitude, a larger scale. I know this was a more weird video, but basically my expectations are, hey, crypto, SPY, GameStop possibly, meme stocks, right? Plays overall as a whole, except specific sectors that align with the things that are happening with war, like oil, energy, gas, right? Things, disregarding those, I expect flash crash, short squeeze higher after everyone panics coming into July to be a very green month. August, September, also possibly pretty decent until we crash October, November, December. Personal opinion, possibly even earlier than that. And again, this could be wrong for this video because this is kind of a macro prediction, right? So again, we'll have to reevaluate. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you think we are in these stages, and if so, where we are in this cycle right now. Are we in the return to normal? Are we very early in the enthusiasm? Are we in the bear trap? What are we in, guys? That is it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will have a video out tomorrow, probably a normal one where we cover some things that are possibly coming with GameStop, or anything else we have. Again, I'll be gone in a week, but I'm prepping some things. So if you guys have any requests, I'm not sure I'll get to them, but drop them. And make sure to join my Discord server. It's the top link in the description of the video. If you're not in yet, you want to get in here, get a funded futures account, 50% off using code LOTTO at checkout. Download Moomoo, sign up, make a deposit, 60 free stocks, all that other stuff. Go download my custom indicator. Leave a tip down below, guys. That is it. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.